This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
The time right now is 4:27 here. We finally made it to Friday. Thanks for waking up with us on Good Morning Indiana. I'm Lauren Casey.
And I'm Meredith Barrick. We begin with that truck crash yesterday that sent black smoke into the sky for hours. People all across central Indiana reported seeing the smoke from this tanker explosion.
Yeah, it was hard to miss if you were anywhere near this area or really in Indianapolis, and especially even if you looked on social media, everyone is posting videos of this billowing black smoke, flames all over the ramp system here at southbound I-465 to eastbound I-70. You can see the grass on fire, the ramp system on fire, and fire crews had to work to put out a tanker truck that was carrying jet fuel that crashed into the guardrail there and then spilled and then burst into flames. Thankfully, there were good Samaritans there who pulled the driver out of that truck. He's in critical.
Yes, he is still in the hospital in critical condition, and we will hear from one of those good Samaritans here coming up on Good Morning Indiana. We do have a follow-up, though, on a story we brought you in the summer of 2019.
Yeah, this has to do with a senior living community that's in the Brownsburg area. And when we brought you this story, we talked about how the ownership of this facility was changing and the rent was going up pretty substantially. And so a lot of people are saying they couldn't afford to live here anymore. So our Kelsey Anderson is going back to this facility now that it's under new ownership. And she's showing us that actually they've done a ton of improvements in the area. And she's also talking to fire crews about the living conditions that those people were living in before that this new owner took over. So we're getting more details over here and talking to people who are still living there right now.
We're going to bring in Alyssa Donovan. It is probably the coldest morning of the week today.
Yes, I bet you guys noticed it when you stepped outside today. It's in the teens right now. I think we're around 13, 14 degrees in Indianapolis. Feels a little colder than that. We have a light northwest breeze, and that is making it feel a little bit more like the single digits as you step outside today. The good news is those winds are going to shift out of the southwest, which is going to help filter in a little bit more warmth throughout our day. And we're going to see plenty of sunshine. So a clear start to our day, a clear end to the day, which means sunshine throughout, highs only creeping into the mid and upper 30s. So still a little bit below average, but we are going to see those sunny skies that kind of help it feel a little bit nicer outside. And we do have a really nice weekend in store with just some chances of rain as we head into early next week.
All right, Alyssa, thank you. And finally, the violence in Indianapolis continues. This after a man was shot and killed in the heart of downtown yesterday. This all happened in the Circle Center parking garage, a popular place not only for people who work in that area, but for visitors to Indianapolis. We'll have more on that situation coming up here on Good Morning Indiana.
This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Now at 4:30 here on Good Morning Indiana, a semi-truck driver is lucky to be alive this morning following a fiery crash on the interstate. Hear how one good Samaritan helped to save his life.
Plus, an effort to get newborns across the state screened for a deadly genetic disease has made its way to the governor. How one Indiana mother helped push along that bill.
And Lake Michigan's swelling has created problems for several northwestern Indiana communities. How Governor Holcomb is now trying to help those folks out. But first here at 4:31, welcome you into Good Morning Indiana. I'm Lauren Casey.
And I'm Meredith Barrick. Alyssa Donovan joining us here. It is chilly out there, Alyssa, but once the sun comes out, things will warm up a bit.
Yeah, so today's going to be one of those days you definitely have to bundle up in the morning, and it's not going to warm up too much throughout the day, but you might feel like it's just a nicer day because of all the sunshine we're going to see. So that's the good news. There's a silver lining in the forecast, and that is the sun. Temperatures starting in the teens this morning. We're right around 15 degrees right now in Indianapolis, 13 up in Peru and Lafayette. So a chilly start today. Feels a little colder than the teens. Feels a little bit more like the single digits. We have that bitter cold start today. That's because we do have some northwest winds that are coming in, making it feel just a little bit chillier outside. The good news is those winds are going to shift as we head through the day, and then we are going to see high pressure and control, which means plenty of sunshine, and we are going to see those temperatures warm just into the mid-30s. So still a little bit below average for this time of year, but it is going to be a pretty nice day as we head into the afternoon. Just have to get through this chilly morning. Really nice weekend on tap. I'll have those details coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Alyssa, we are looking forward to that weekend and the sunshine. Thank you so much. Let's take a look at your commute on this Friday morning. This is on the northeast side of town, I-465 and I-69. You can see in this area. Traffic is moving along up to speed. No crashes to slow you down. Of course, we're going to keep a close eye on those roads throughout the morning. We'll keep you updated on any delays. And now to another traffic issue that we've been following since yesterday. We can tell you the ramp from southbound I-465 to eastbound I-70 is back open this morning after this tanker truck full of jet fuel crashed, causing this massive explosion and fire.
This was the scene yesterday. Black smoke blanketing the area, the scene bringing traffic to a halt for nearly 12 hours. Investigators say the tanker was coming around the curve on I-465 southbound, heading to I-70 eastbound when it hit the guardrail, lost control, and overturned. 4,000 pounds of jet fuel spilled in both directions. The driver of that truck rescued by 3 Good Samaritans.
I wasn't just trying to be famous or to be on TV. In fact, when that happened, I just walked away. This man was burning. This man was actually fried. As I saw him getting ready to die, he knew he was going to die. I said, I'm going to get you out. I don't know how, but the whole flame was inside. We were inside of that flame. Nobody saw us.
Wow, a hero. Mitch Navarre, Holly McNally, and another Good Samaritan carried the injured driver to the bottom of the ramp, where they were met by another civilian and a state trooper. ISP investigators say unsafe speed may have contributed to the crash. This morning, that driver remains in critical condition. And working for you, we looked into the safety of the ramp. The southbound I-465 to eastbound I-70 ramp does have a history of crashes. In 2017, INDOT installed new safety features on that ramp and 6 others in an effort to reduce accidents and backups. Each of the areas were chosen because of a history of pileups. This morning, crews with the Indiana Department of Transportation tell us an initial inspection found that there is no major structural damage to that bridge.
This morning, Metro Police continue to search for a suspect in a deadly shooting that happened in the Circle Center Mall garage. If you're like me and you park there, a little concerning. Police found a man there with gunshot wounds in the parking garage just before 2:30 yesterday afternoon. He was pronounced dead shortly after getting to the hospital. Investigators tell us they believe that this was a targeted attack. We are still waiting to learn the victim's identity and any suspect information.
Meanwhile, Metro Police are asking for help identifying a group of robbery suspects accused of targeting a victim at a gas station on the northwest side. These are surveillance pictures from the scene at the Marathon on MLK near 38th Street. Investigators say the suspects pulled up next to the pump just before 11:30 on Valentine's Day. After a white pickup truck pulled into the parking lot, the suspects moved their car behind the truck and robbed the driver. If you have any information, you can call IMPD or Crime Stoppers.
Trial dates are now set for the 4 suspects charged in the deadly quadruple shooting on the northeast side of Indianapolis. Our cameras were rolling when 2 of the suspects appeared in court yesterday, Cameron and Desmond Banks, along with Rodrice Anderson and LaShawn Watkins. All face murder and robbery charges. Police say they plan to rob 19-year-old Jalen Roberts at his home at the Carriage House East Apartments complex on February 5th. Roberts was shot and killed along with 20-year-old Marcel Wills, 21-year-old Braxton Ford, and 21-year-old Kamari Hunt. Wills and Roberts were buried on Thursday. Funerals for Hunt and Ford are set for Saturday.
An April 21st court date has been set for Thomas Minor, the former Franklin College president. He's facing child sex crime charges in Wisconsin. Minor was arrested back in January after allegedly sending sexually explicit text messages to a person he thought was a 15-year-old boy. Police say he arranged a meeting but was met by an undercover officer instead. Shortly after his arrest, Minor was fired by Franklin College. He had served as president for 5 years.
The time now is 4:36. Covering the State House this morning, a bill to add screening for a rare genetic disorder to the state's newborn screening panel is on its way to becoming law. We first told you about ALD last month. The deadly disease mainly affects boys and has no cure. In most cases, children lose their sight, hearing, and mobility, leading to a vegetative state and ultimately death. Working for you, we spoke with a mother whose sons have the disease and were screened for it when they lived out of state. She's been pushing for the bill and is thankful it could soon become law.
We're happy. We are very happy. We're relieved. You know, coming to Indiana, we knew it wasn't here. And now that we know it's here and it's gotten here and we've helped a little bit, maybe even just a little bit, we're glad, we're happy.
The bill passed out of the Senate unanimously, and it now heads to the governor's desk.
Also at the State House, Hoosier employers may no longer be allowed to force potential employees to get microchips implanted into their bodies. A bill banning the practice passed both the House and Senate and is now on its way to Governor Holcomb's desk. Right now, there are no known employers in the country that require employee microchipping, and the bill's sponsor, Representative Alan Morrison, says he wants to keep it that way. If passed, Indiana would be the 6th state to outlaw companies mandating microchips.
Residents who are being forced out of a mobile home park on the southwest side of Indianapolis have until today to leave. The deadline comes after 5 months of people living at the I-70 mobile home park reached out to RTV6 for help. Back in August, they were given 60-day notice to vacate. After RTV6 got involved, the Attorney General filed a lawsuit against the landowners. That only extended the deadline, but residents were also compensated or given the title to their homes.
Governor Eric Holcomb has ordered officials to calculate the damage along Lake Michigan that's been caused by high water. This is to determine whether a state-level emergency can be declared and federal disaster aid can be received. Several lakeshore communities in northwestern Indiana have already declared local beach erosion emergencies. The Indiana Department of Homeland Security initially declined to declare a state emergency, but Governor Holcomb said he wanted a new review after viewing the shoreline by helicopter Sunday. Lake Michigan's erosion and flooding damage has been extensive this year. Officials say the cost of long-term road repairs and upgrades could reach $100 million.
A potential Russia repeat. Straight ahead, a new report suggesting the Kremlin may be trying to interfere in the 2020 election. We'll have the latest from Washington.
And good news for NFL fans who just cannot get enough of the game. This season could be expanding. Coming up, details on the proposal from the owners and when the changes could take effect. Alyssa.
And we have a chilly start to our Friday, but plenty of sunshine on the way for the weekend. All of the details coming up.
For whole home freshness.
Welcome back. President Trump's 2020 campaign may be getting external help. Sources say the Intelligence Committee has informed Congress that Russia may be working towards interfering in the election to help get President Trump reelected. John Lawrence is in Washington with more.
The Kremlin is focused on the White House.
One official said that their intelligence is that Russia is interfering or attempting to interfere in the 2020 election with the goal of re-electing President Trump.
Last week, lawmakers were told Russia is hacking and attacking U.S. election infrastructure, according to one source familiar with the matter.
This angered Republicans on the committee who pushed back, and when the president learned about this briefing, he was very upset.
A source says President Trump was frustrated that House Intelligence Chairman Adam Schiff had been allowed to attend the hearing. The California Democrat tweeting Thursday that if President Trump is interfering with the intelligence reports to Congress, he is jeopardizing our efforts to stop foreign meddling. Despite findings from U.S. intelligence, which echo warnings from last summer.
The Russians are absolutely intent on trying to interfere with our elections.
President Trump has repeatedly rejected the idea of Russia's influence on U.S. politics.
You know who got me elected? I got me elected. Russia didn't help me at all. I call it the Russian hoax. It's a hoax.
Democratic critics are calling on the GOP to address the situation.
Take that backbone and speak to this president and say, this is enough. It's enough.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Well, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi tweeted last night that election security briefing is scheduled for March 10th. She added that, quote, all members of Congress should condemn the president's reported efforts to dismiss threats to the integrity of our democracy and to politicize our intel community, end quote.
There's no way to separate the two. The two crimes that Mr. Cawley pled guilty to and for which he received the sentence today are inextricably intertwined with the events of August 4.
The man accused of providing body armor and parts for the assault-style rifle used in last year's mass shooting in Ohio has been sentenced to prison. Ethan Cawley was convicted of lying on a federal firearms form and being a drug user in possession of a firearm. But those charges do not stem from the mass shooting Connor Betts carried out back in August. Betts was shot and killed by police after opening fire in Dayton's Oregon district. 9 people were killed, including Betts' sister. Cawley's attorney says although he purchased the items Betts used, he was not aware of what Betts was planning.
He wasn't involved with the planning, he wasn't involved in any of it, and yet he is somehow being brought into this as he is involved. but it really couldn't be farther from the truth.
Colley was sentenced to 32 months in prison. The judge also ordered Colley to go through substance abuse treatment.
At 4:44, Florida officials are offering a bigger reward in hopes of finding a baby who went missing after a triple homicide. The Miami-Dade police are looking for baby Andrew Cavalario. He disappeared last month, and police say that Andrew's father, Ernesto, killed his mother, grandmother, and great-grandmother before abducting him. Andrew was only a week old at the time. Ernesto was later found dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The reward for information leading to Andrew's whereabouts has increased from $1,000 to $8,000.
Are you ready for some more football? NFL team owners reportedly voted to expand the regular season and playoffs in a meeting Thursday. The potential new collective bargaining agreement would add a 17th game to regular seasons. There would also be 7 teams per conference in the playoffs instead of 6. The agreement calls for a decrease in the amount of preseason games from 4 to 3. The Players Association has a conference call today where they will discuss the proposed new changes. If the agreement is ratified before the season starts, the changes would go into effect in the upcoming season. But first, before we start thinking about football again, we have got to get through these chilly temps, Alyssa.
Yeah, so we are seeing those temperatures dropping off even more than we did yesterday. Yesterday was a chilly start. Today, even colder as you step outside. We've dropped about 10 degrees right now in Indianapolis from this time yesterday. So as you head out the door, definitely need that warmer jacket, scarf, gloves, the whole 9 yards. And as we head into the next couple hours here, we're going to stay in the teens. It's actually going to feel a little colder than that. And so we are in the 15-degree range right around Indianapolis and Kokomo, 17 degrees in Bloomington. And we have these northwesterly winds. They are very light, but they are impacting us, which means it's making it feel a little bit colder than even the teens. Feels a little bit more like the single digits right now in Indianapolis, about 8 degrees. So very chilly start to our day. The good news is this chill is not going to last, and we do have some nicer conditions as we head into the weekend. So what's going on is we had that system that moved through yesterday, brought us a little bit of cloud coverage, and now we are left with high pressure. That high pressure is going to stay in control throughout the day today and into tomorrow. So today, by the noon hour, we're going to see plenty of sunshine. Temperatures will climb into the upper 20s. By the afternoon, we'll continue to see those clear skies. Temperatures will climb into the mid-30s this afternoon. So we'll see a little bit of warming with that sunshine, and we're also going to see those winds shift to become more southwesterly, so we won't have that chill in the air that we're experiencing this morning. Looking ahead to the weekend, on Saturday, we'll continue to see those nicer conditions. Temperatures will continue climbing as well. We'll be into the upper 40s. So Saturday is going to be a beautiful day in the forecast. And then on Sunday, we're starting really nice, and then we'll see those clouds increase a little bit as we head through the day, but it's going to be a pretty good day with those temperatures climbing into the low 50s. So we are going to see this little warming trend, but as we see that cloud coverage increase on Sunday, we are seeing an approaching low pressure system. That's going to impact us overnight Sunday and into our Monday. So we are going to be dry over the next couple days, but by Sunday night, that's when we have that change. We have this deep low pressure system that will bring us scattered showers overnight Sunday into Monday, possibly lingering into Tuesday. So enjoy the next couple days because we do have some more rain in the forecast. Today, starting in the teens this morning, feels like the single digits though. Sunny skies throughout our day, temperatures climbing into the mid-30s. Tomorrow, mid-40s, low 50s by Sunday. So this warming trend really just in time for the weekend, and we'll see that sunshine throughout our weekend before we start to see a little bit more cloud coverage Sunday afternoon and evening. That's ahead of that front that will bring us some scattered showers on Monday.
Alyssa, thank you. We're keeping a close eye on traffic this morning. Here's a live look at your commute from our INDOT traffic camera down on the south side. I-65 and County Line Road, you can see traffic is moving along up to speed, both northbound and southbound. And the good news right now around the Indy metro area, no crashes or delays to slow you down.
The National Safety Council says an estimated 38,800 people lost their lives in car crashes in 2019. That is down a percentage from 2018 and down 4% from 2017. The NSC credits the decline partly to new policies in cities and states that make streets safer.
Well, more colleges and universities across the country are aiming to make school more affordable for students, and the University of California is joining that trend. USC says it will begin offering free tuition to students whose families earn less than $80,000 a year. The school's president also says USC will no longer count on home ownership in the calculation that determines students' financial needs. USC is also increasing the amount of undergraduate financial aid awards by more than $30 million a year.
Cy Sperling has died at the age of 78. He rose to fame in the 80s as the founder of the Hair Club for Men. According to the company's current president, Sperling died Wednesday after battling an illness. He created Hair Club for Men in 1976 after experiencing hair loss himself. In his TV commercials during the 80s, the businessman pitched hair restoration with the tagline, "I'm not only the Hair Club president, I'm also a client." Those commercials became so popular they were spoofed on The Tonight Show and Saturday Night Live. Sperling sold the company for $45 million and retired in 2000.
The man who made your workday much easier has died. Larry Tesler created cut, copy, and paste and other much-used computer functions. Tesler developed the cut, copy, and paste commands as a researcher at Xerox. He was later hired by Steve Jobs to work at Apple and rose to become the chief scientist there. He went on to work at Amazon and Yahoo. In an obituary from Xerox, the company wrote, quote, "Your workday is easier thanks to his revolutionary ideas," end quote. Tesler was 74 years old.
There's a new use for McDonald's used cooking oil. Researchers in Canada are using it for 3D printing. The idea started back in 2017 at the University of Toronto's Scarborough campus. Scientists there were looking for a cheaper way to get 3D printing materials. A professor figured out that the resin they were using was similar to fats found in ordinary cooking oil. He and his students then reached out to the fast food restaurants asking for oil, and McDonald's responded. After several attempts, the team was able to successfully print a 3D butterfly. The group hopes to use this technology to one day replace plastic and improve sustainability.
Pretty cool. Well, Whitney Houston is coming to life in a brand new way. We'll show you how you can see the singer perform her greatest hits on stage again.
And coming up all new at 5, a change in ownership at an independent living community for seniors left residents with the choice to either pay a higher rent or move out completely. Our Kelsey Anderson is working for you this morning with why the community is now thanking the new owners. But first,
I'm Vinny Politan. Coming up today on Court TV, we are on a verdict watch in 2 different major trials. First, in New York City, Harvey Weinstein facing the potential of life in prison. Prosecutors say he's a sexual predator. The jury begins their 4th day of deliberations in New York. We'll be covering that for you, as well as what's happening down in Tampa, Florida. In the Ice Cream Man murder trial, Michael Keatley facing life in prison as well for a double homicide shooting spree. The jury returns for day 2 of deliberations there. We're live in Tampa, Florida and New York City today on Court TV.
And don't forget, you can watch the all-new Court TV live right on your mobile device by visiting CourtTV.com. It's 4:52. We're going to be right back.
Calling all Whitney Houston fans, you can soon see the diva perform on stage again. An Evening with Whitney, the Whitney Houston Hologram Tour, kicks off next Tuesday in England. The show will feature a set list of Houston's biggest hits, along with a live band, backup singers, and dancers. The singer's image will be projected center stage. According to Whitney's former manager, the show is something she envisioned before she died in February of 2012. So far, no North American tour dates have been announced.
That would be interesting.
That would be very interesting. And we want to dance with Alyssa Donovan this morning.
About the weekend forecast.
Yes.
Not today's.
Fun fact, too, Whitney Houston is my go-to karaoke song.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we're learning everyone's karaoke go-tos this week.
She's just so good. And you're going to be singing for this weekend forecast. We are starting chilly this morning. Those temperatures in the teens across the area will climb into the mid-30s this afternoon with sunshine throughout the weekend as well.